Welcome into this edition of Music City Wrestling. Michael St. John with Paul Adams opening things up with Stephen Dunn returning to Music City Wrestling against Killer Kyle, an outstanding star at one time in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, now coming into MCW, the hottest wrestling program on the air today, and the wrestling program geared at the 21st century. Paul Adams, we have quite a match to open things up today.
Absolutely, Michael. You see Stephen Dunn, this is his debut in the ring for Music City Wrestling. He was out here last week talking about how he's ready to face all comers, and I got to admit, I kind of like that attitude. He's not playing favorites. He's here to make a name for himself. He's challenging guys like Dangerous Doug Gilbert, Wolfie D, as well as guys like Billy Joe Travis. He's got no friends in this organization, and he is here to rise straight to the top.
Steve Dunn with an illustrious past at one time Rookie of the Year in professional wrestling a few years back. Had quite a tag team known as Well Done. Made their names known in WCW and around the world. Wrestled very extensively in Japan and also in the Samoan Islands. And right now, Steve Dunn backed into the ropes by Killer Kyle. Kyle is a tough customer. He is getting a blessing of fire or a workout with Killer Kyle in this ring, because Kyle can hold his own with any wrestler any organization has.
Absolutely, Michael. And just to show you what kind of a man he is, how tough he is, he was once the bodyguard for Jim Cornette, and to guard that body, you got to be double tough.
Drop kick by Dunn, caught him at the side of the face. There's another one off the side of the face, and Killer Kyle goes to the floor, seeking a refuge in the safety of the floor here at the Music City Wrestling Arena at the State Fairgrounds in Nashville, Tennessee. Boy, what a card, what a lineup we have on television today, plus an outstanding card coming to the Fairgrounds Arena Thanksgiving night. Have a little turkey, have a little dressing, have a little cranberry sauce, and top it off with a dessert of Music City Wrestling. 11 big matches on that card.
Absolutely, and I can tell you both of these guys are going to be vying to get on that card. We're going to hear more about the lineup later on in this program. But this guy, Stephen Dunn, you know he's going to want to be there. It's the biggest show so far from Music City Wrestling. And let me tell you something about this Stephen Dunn. You know, a lot of times you'll hear people talk about guys who have made their names in tag team competition. A lot of times you hear people refer to Bobby Eaton as one of the tag team specialists, one of the greatest tag team competitors of all time. Stephen Dunn is exactly that, and it's going to be very interesting to see how he gets out here and performs as a singles competitor this week on Music City Wrestling.
Well, Steve Dunn had extensive training throughout the wrestling profession and grew up with the auspices of such tag teams as Steve Kern and Stan Lane. And the Fabulous Ones. Also, the Fantastics were in the area. Steve was just beginning to come into his own as an amateur. So he watched these professionals work out in the ring, and as a result, you will see a lot of what Steve Dunn is in the ring, a combination of many wrestlers out of the early and mid-'80s.
Well, and we've talked before, Michael, how a lot of the greatest stars in the sport of professional wrestling have come from the area right here in central Tennessee, right around Nashville. And I think that's because a lot of the fans around here, they grow up seeing some of the greatest stars, a long line of stars that come from out of here. There's a great history here, and they grow up watching them, and they just have a natural feel for what professional wrestling is all about.
Well, these fans are not only some of the best-looking fans in America, these fans are very knowledgeable about the sport of professional wrestling, and they know a good wrestler, and they'll spot a good wrestler very quickly. And there you saw a nice trip down and a hammerlock now by Steve Dunn as he's got Kyle on the mat. Good place to have your opponent wear him down right there in the ring.
Well, especially when you're dealing with a large man like Killer Kyle. But I'll tell you what, you're talking about these fans. I don't like many of them, but you're absolutely right. They do respect the long heritage of wrestling in this area, and that's why they're all excited about coming to the Fairgrounds this week for the Tennessee Homecoming. All those legends going to be honored this week at the Fairgrounds Thursday night, Thanksgiving night, Michael.
Some of those legends include the tag teams of Don and Al Green, the tag team of Eddie Marlin and Tommy Gilbert, plus many other stars, Billy Wicks, Mac York, Paul Morton. The list goes on. An outstanding list of professional wrestlers that have made their name and will be enshrined in the Music City Wrestling Hall of Fame, the Tennessee Wrestling Hall of Fame, this weekend, or make that this coming Thursday night at the Fairgrounds Arena Thanksgiving night. And oh my goodness, did Steve Dunn go into that turnbuckle hard, and that whole ring shook as Steve Dunn went ramming into that turnbuckle. Kyle picks him up.
Right, Michael. What you're seeing right now, Kyle's taken over, and he's taken him over in the corner there just before with a couple of closed fists. Now he's just clubbering away on the man, just methodically wearing him down.
Kyle does not have the speed and the agility of a Stephen Dunn, but he certainly has the wrestling prowess and the power in that ring. He is a very powerful man. He can bench press over 400 pounds. And again, sending Dunn into the buckle, and oh my goodness, Dunn backs out of the way. Bulldog, down goes Killer Kyle. And Steve Dunn, I'm surprised he didn't close in for a cover right there. Backs him to the ropes again. Across the way. Caught him with a big elbow. Dunn just pounding the man. Now a reversal. Duck under. Dunn off the ropes. Duck under again. Kyle a little slow to recover. Catches him under the chin. 1, 2, 3. Got the cover. Very quickly, very methodically, Steve Dunn gets the victory.